All right. Obviously, a tough game last week. I was really proud of our football team. I thought they played extremely hard. Obviously, playing a very explosive and hot football team. Obviously, number 24 in the country, coming in 5-0. I thought we played exceptionally well for 3 quarters, and then just got to finish right there. One play here or there, and obviously it's a different ball game. But that's the way our conference is. It's the way our schedule is. Knowing every week is going to be a battle like that, you got to come out on top in those situations. I think we have an extremely good football team, and we're continuing to get better each and every week. We've got to continue that process, and then we just got to continue to keep fighting and battling and finding ways to win. As you look at Navy coming in, I mean, another opponent that causes so many different problems. Navy's always caused us problems. They cause everybody problems. I mean, most people are getting less than 60 plays a game versus them. They're explosive offensively in what they do because you face it one time a year. Our defense has got to be very assignment sound, very disciplined in what they do. They've got a lot of skill guys that are hurting you on the edges and up the middle. You got to be able to stop the fullback. The quarterback, Malcolm Perry, is playing extremely well and very talented. So defensively, they've got a new defensive coordinator in Brian Newberry. He's done a really nice job bringing a lot of different looks, a lot of different pressures. They are really doing a good job of changing those things up and getting after quarterbacks. And so we know we got our hands full this week, and Navy's always tough, but looking forward to getting back on the practice field today and getting back on the game field come Saturday with another big test in front of us.
Questions, TJ?
Yeah, I think the main question always gets asked in a game like this is, was there a big difference between the first 3 quarters, and the fourth quarter and the way you guys played? Was it so much what they were doing? What was it?
No, I think it's a team that's been extremely hot throughout the first part of the year, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. I thought we did a good job of shutting some things down early on, but with a team like that, you just can't give them any hope. I think the catch that Porsche made, kind of the one-handed catch in the end zone, great catch right there. They have the 19-play drive, which probably 8 of those plays are inside the 5-yard line. I mean, we get the goal line stand, and then we get the defensive pass interference call on fourth down. That's a tough call, and then you got to do it again. I thought our defense did a nice job of continuing to stand up right there, but you just can't allow them to get hot. And they made a couple of plays there late. He made 2 of them, and those were, I thought we were in good coverage on both of them, and they were, great catches.
And you kind of hit on in the opening statement there. I know there's disappointment in the loss, but you got to be pleased with the way they played for pretty much the entire game, and to be able to go on the road like that and about knock off a top 25 team was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely proud of our football team. I mean, I thought there wasn't a guy in our locker room that didn't play their tails off, that didn't empty their tank. We had a lot of emotion into that game and a lot of energy into that game. Now we got to get back, obviously, with another tough opponent in front of us. But, again, I think our team, and you look at us from week 1 to now, we're decisively better, and we're continuing to get better. And we just got to continue that process, and we got to find ways to win. And, the other night, all 3 phases had an opportunity to win it at some point. And so we just got to come up with those.
Philip, anything that you wish you'd done different in the fourth quarter?
Well, I mean, there's every time that you play a game, you're going to be critical on yourself. And there's things that, as you look back on it, in hindsight, you wish you could have called something different or looked at something different. You're trying to learn every week just like the players are trying to learn every week. And so, hindsight 2020, there's obviously probably some different calls in there in all 3 phases. So, at the time, I wouldn't have done anything differently. But as you look back on it, obviously you're going to be critical of yourself and try to find things.
I think the first vantage point from an outsider is if you lose a lead like that, maybe that you got too conservative in terms of playing not to lose. I went back and checked the play-by-play. You called, I think, the same number of passes as runs
Yeah,
I'm not sure
we didn't get
that-
conservative
yeah.
at all. And if anything, I didn't use as much tempo in the fourth quarter because we do have a lead, and tempo's a big part of our game. But, at that stage of the game, I need to be working the clock more than I need to be working tempo. And so we did those things and slowed it down and tried to eat the clock a little bit more. But I don't think our play selection was conservative at all. I mean, I think, we were still throwing the football. We still took shots down the field. We had an opportunity on a big one right there to Keelan. That kind of a bang-bang play could have gone either way. That would have been a huge one for us. So I didn't think we got conservative. I think we stayed aggressive throughout, but I thought we tried to be smart and not be unaware of the clock.
You mentioned, Coach, not wanting to give a team like that any hope. The interception right before half would have made it a 4-score game with you guys getting the ball in the second half. How much was that a moment that kind of maybe gave them a little hope?
Well, I mean, you just need to capitalize on those things. I thought, Zach's our quarterback, and he's done a really, really good job, and he has continued to do that. I mean, he made some really spectacular plays the other night. He had a couple of throws that he would want back. He ended up with 3 picks. One of those I thought he threw a dime on and probably was a touchdown if it's caught and carried out. The other 2 were just trying to do a little bit too much, and that's when we've got to be a little smarter and play the percentages a little bit more. Obviously, those are a couple of throws that he would want back, but we got to continue to keep growing from those.
So much happened Saturday night. I didn't get a chance to ask you about that kickoff touchdown. It just kind of seemed like a lot of luck, maybe a lot of hustle. Can you just kind of break down kind of how that?
Yeah, I guess you could use the word luck. I would prefer to use guys busting their tails, things that we talk about in practice every day, guys running down the field. Zach hit a good kick, and they have a little miscommunication on it, and our guys are flying down the field, and then, Kendarian makes a great play right there. I mean, ends up kind of touching it, and it rolls in the end zone, and he gets on it, and it's a huge momentum deal for us right there, and a great play by Kendarian and our kickoff coverage team, and when you get opportunities like that, you got to capitalize on them, and I thought our team did.
And even outside the game, I mean, that play was all over social media, on SportsCenter. For as small as a school as you guys are, is it nice for even those few seconds to get that national exposure?
Well, I mean, we've done some good things around here, not just in football, but, in every sport. And, we may be the smallest FBS team in America, but I don't think we play like it. I don't think we act like it. And I think our team tries to use that to our advantage as we play with a chip on our shoulder and always looking to compete at every level.
Just the difficulty of now going from that game to a completely different offensive. I mean, you hit on a little bit, but just how difficult is that from a game playing perspective? You're going to a completely different offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's wow. I don't know that you can really put into words the difficulty it takes within really the course of, you say a week, but it's really not a week. You've got a few days here, 3 really strong practice days to try to really install a totally different mindset of your defense going against this offense. And so I think it's very, very difficult from that standpoint. They cause you a lot of different problems. They know what they're doing. They've done it that way for a long time. Especially offensively, that whole staff has been there forever together. And, so they've seen everything that you want to throw at them. You're not going to surprise them with something new. And so you've got to do a really good job of just being really disciplined and assignment sound. And you've got to do a good job on those early downs, right? Because you let them continue to get 3rd and mediums to 3rd and shorts, they're built to go 4 downs every time. So you got to do a great job of tackling in open space, because you're going to be sometimes that you're going to have those tackles in open space that you got to make. You got to be really disciplined about the fullback, and you've got to make sure that you're taking care of him, because I think it all starts with the fullback and then works its way out.
And you said the word assignment. I think when defensive guys talk about stopping the triple option, they call it assignment football. That's kind of the mentality. Can you hit on what exactly that means?
Well, yeah, because there's obviously multiple options on every play that they run, and not only is there multiple options, but it's multiple options in both directions. So, somebody's got to have fullback, quarterback pitch to this side and the same thing to the other side, and you've got to be very disciplined in the way you do it. And when they start shifting and moving people, and then they counter-step everybody, and then all of a sudden they're going in a different direction, one guy not doing his job is going to get exposed into what they're doing. And so it's very difficult to defend because not many people run it anymore. And, when you're doing that, it takes a little bit of time from a defensive standpoint especially to get on track.
And then we talk about the defensive struggles with that, but on an offensive side of things as well, it puts more pressure on each possession you guys have to score because you don't know how many you're going to get. Is there any?
Yeah, their first 2 weeks, I think both teams ran 58 plays. Trying to think, Memphis maybe only ran 46 plays. I think Memphis only had 15 plays in the first half. Now, count that up, their first play from scrimmage, they hit a big run and scored from 75 yards out. They had a kickoff return that went the distance. And Memphis obviously is very, very talented. But, 15 plays in the first half doesn't give you any idea of like, okay, is my game plan right? What adjustments do I have to make? You hadn't even got into it to get a feel for what they're trying to do to you. And so that's the biggest deal is you got to get yourself opportunities to stay on the field offensively, and you're going to be limited number of possessions. And you've got to make some good decisions when it comes to third and shorts and fourth and shorts and whether you're going to go for them or, you take a punt right there. How long is it going to be before you get it back to be able to do anything with it? And we've been in some shootouts with Navy, some really high-scoring affair type things. So they put points on the board. You're going to have to score. It's not going to be a 10-7 game. It's going to be a game where both teams are going to have to do a really good job.
Last time I saw you, Philip, you were upset about not playing. It was after OSU. You wanted to play cleaner, to give yourselves a better shot to win. You had some key penalties that helped SMU sustain some things in the fourth quarter Saturday. Is that a continued frustration for you that your untimely penalties?
Well, like I said, I don't want to get myself in trouble. The one in the end zone, it's a bang-bang play. I think it could have been called, could not have been called. Let's say it that way. The one down the sideline with Reggie, I think Reggie's actually in pretty good position. He just got to be more confident right there and not kind of panic, if you will, and just see if they're going to make that happen. Some of those penalties that occur, some of them are just guys playing really, really hard. And I don't want to take that aggressiveness out of us. I want to make sure that we're playing right there on that line, but you got to know where the line is. And so, a pretty good example of that probably is after Corey's run, we get a late hit there that sets us back 15 more yards. You can't have things like that. Those are the ones that make me upset.